Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds talks with Finland President Alexander Stubb in New Delhi. Mobility pact among several MOUs exchanged. Prime Minister Modi to inaugurate the 11th edition of the Raisina Dialogue in New Delhi. Finland President to deliver keynote address at the inaugural session. US and Israeli forces continue attacks in Iran. Azerbaijan summons Iran's envoy after 2 people got injured in drone strikes that hit an airport in the Nakhchivan exclave. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri visits the Iranian embassy in Delhi, condoles the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And Nepal votes for a new parliament in a high-stakes national election after last year's youth protests. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has held delegation-level talks with the visiting President of Finland, Alexander Stubb, at Hyderabad House in Delhi. President Stubb is accompanied by a high-level delegation that includes ministers, senior officials and prominent business leaders. India and Finland share warm, friendly and multifaceted relations rooted in shared democratic values. An MOU on environment cooperation and another on official statistics has been exchanged on the occasion. At a joint press statement with President Stubb, Prime Minister Modi said India and Finland both believe in the rule of law, dialogue and diplomacy.
आज विश्व एक अस्थिरता और अनिश्चितता के दौर से गुजर रहा है। यूक्रेन से लेकर वेस्ट एशिया तक दुनिया के कई हिस्से उसमें संघर्ष की स्थिति बनी हुई है। ऐसे ग्लोबल एनवायरनमेंट में भारत और यूरोप दुनिया की 2 बड़ी डिप्लोमेटिक पावर्स अपने संबंधों के सुनहरे दौर में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं। हमारा बढ़ता सहयोग वैश्विक स्थिरता, विकास और साझा समृद्धि को नई मजबूती दे रहा है।
The PM also said that Finland is becoming a preferred destination for Indian students as well as talent.
दोनों देशों के इनोवेशन इकोसिस्टम को जोड़ने के लिए आज हमने फिनलैंड के साथ एक व्यापक माइग्रेशन एंड मोबिलिटी एग्रीमेंट किया है। इसके साथ हम जॉइंट रिसर्च और स्टार्टअप सहयोग को भी और मजबूत करने जा रहे हैं। शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में फिनलैंड एक रोल मॉडल है। आज हमने टीचर ट्रेनिंग, स्कूल टू स्कूल पार्टनरशिप और फ्यूचर ऑफ एजुकेशन में रिसर्च सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति बनाई है।
Prime Minister Modi also said India and Finland are elevating their ties to a strategic partnership focused on digitalization and sustainability.
ये पार्टनरशिप एआई से लेकर 6G टेलीकॉम तक, क्लीन एनर्जी से लेकर क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग तक कई हाईटेक क्षेत्रों में हमारे सहयोग को गति और ऊर्जा देगा। साथ ही डिफेंस, स्पेस, सेमीकंडक्टर और क्रिटिकल मिनरल जैसे की सेक्टर्स में भी साझेदारी और गहरी बढ़ेगी। भारत और फिनलैंड जैसे लोकतांत्रिक और जिम्मेदार देशों की यह स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप पूरे विश्व के लिए ट्रस्टवर्दी टेक्नोलॉजी और सप्लाई चेन सुनिश्चित करने में योगदान देगी।
On his part, the Finnish president lauded the strength and resilience of India's democracy, saying it continues to stand as a powerful example of diversity, participation and constitutional values. President Stubb highlighted that India's democratic system has thrived through the active participation of its citizens and the commitment of institutions to uphold the Constitution.
Salute your diplomatic skills when you say that we stand here as two big democracies. There is one big and one slightly smaller, but I think the key message is that we share values. I would also like to congratulate you for your leadership. My last visit to India was actually in 2013 in my capacity as Minister of Trade. And the change that I just see on the streets of New Delhi and that I will most probably see in Mumbai in a couple of days is palpable. This is an economic miracle that we're witnessing, and I wish you all the best.
And earlier, Prime Minister Modi held bilateral level talks with President Stubb at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Both the leaders held discussions on strengthening bilateral cooperation across a wide spectrum of areas. The leaders exchanged perspectives on regional and global issues of mutual interest, including cooperation in multilateral fora. This is the first visit of President Stubb to India in his present capacity. Finland is a valued partner for India in the European Union as well as the Nordic region. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, on behalf of the Indian government, has signed the Book of Condolence for Iran's late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei at the Iranian embassy in New Delhi on Thursday. Khamenei was killed in a joint US-Israeli airstrike on the 28th of February, a Saturday, an incident that has plunged the West Asian region into war. The Foreign Secretary also met the Iranian ambassador to India. Let me now bring in live my colleague Shubhendu Ghosh from our newsroom. Good evening, Shubhendu, to you. Now, how significant is the Foreign Secretary's visit to the Iranian embassy in Delhi?
Good evening, Gautam. As we know, that intense conflict is raging on in West Asia concerning Iran, Israel and the United States. It all started on 28th of February, Saturday, when US and Israel launched joint strikes on Iran. And in those strikes, the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed. Now, in that context, the visit of India's Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri, to the Iranian embassy to express, on behalf of Government of India, express condolences and also enter the thoughts on that book of condolences that has been kept open at the Iran embassy. We know that India exercises a policy of strategic autonomy, even as it has close ties with the principal adversaries in this conflict, United States, Israel and Iran. Yet it has sort of spoken of working towards peace and negotiation. With Iran in particular, India shares civilizational ties. They also are close diplomatic partners. In that context, the visit of Foreign Secretary reflects positively as far as India's ties with Iran are concerned. India has also expressed concern about millions of Indians, Indian diaspora spread across West Asia. There are about 9 to 10 million of them. So in that context, India has been trying to make an outreach to all the countries, principally to the US, Israel, and in this case, Iran. Ayatollah Khamenei also has a significant following at the community level in India and across the world. And condolences has been pouring in since the news of his killing came in on day one of the conflict. Gautam?
Right, Shubhendu, and you mentioned how India has consistently raised the need for dialogue here, diplomacy here, instead of hostilities. Apart from that, expressing concern about the nearly 10 million Indian origin people, the Indian diaspora that resides in that region of West Asia. And India has had concern about the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz and its impact on global trade as well.
Absolutely, Gautam. India, although it does not have any direct stake in the ongoing conflict between Iran, Israel and the United States, it does have significant interest in the region. Most important interest would be Indians living in the region of West Asia across different countries, particularly the UAE, but also they're present in Iran, in Israel, and other countries in different capacity. Energy is another aspect, not just India. Global energy supply chain is significantly disrupted. There are different risks and concerns that are cropping up, leading to the energy markets experiencing nervousness around this conflict. In that sense, India has pushed for dialogue in the matter to end the conflict on the negotiating table. In that sense, it has sent its message across very clearly to all the stakeholders in this conflict, namely Iran, Israel, and the United States. Meanwhile, India has also made a direct outreach to the key countries where the Indian diaspora is residing. For example, the UAE, Oman, and other countries, which are also coming under the direct impact of the conflict, where Iran had warned that although it's Israel and the United States that is directly fighting against, however, the countries who sort of host the bases, American defense bases from where America may be launching these strikes, would also come under the attack of Iranian missiles. And in that context, there's a lot of risk that is being posed to Indian nationals, Indian diaspora living across different countries of West Asia.
Certainly, certainly. Thanks a lot for joining us on that development, Shubhendu. Now, the Raisina Dialogue, India's premier conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, is kick-starting today. This is the 11th edition of the Raisina Dialogue and will be held from the 5th to the 7th of this month. The event will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi. Finnish President Alexander Stubb will join the inaugural session as the chief guest. He'll also deliver the keynote address. The Raisina Dialogue will witness the participation of representatives from 110 countries, including ministers, former heads of state and military commanders. The theme of the 2026 edition is Samskar, Assertion, Accommodation, Advancement. The event has 6 thematic pillars covering issues like climate, conflict and trade. Now, the Israeli Defense Forces on Thursday released video showing aerial strikes on what it said were missile launchers in Iran and Hezbollah command centers in Lebanon. Israel said the strikes were in response to a wave of Iranian missiles fired early on Thursday, which sent millions of residents rushing into bomb shelters. Lebanon has also become a key front in the widening conflict, which has gripped the region since the United States and Israel launched attacks on Iran. Hezbollah fired drones and rockets at Israel on Monday, triggering Israeli retaliation, which has killed dozens of people. And the U.S. military released a video showing strikes on Iran's mobile missile launch capabilities as well. U.S. Central Command said American forces are locating and destroying these threats with lethal precision. Iran also launched a wave of missiles at Israel on Thursday, sending millions of residents into bomb shelters. Now, Iran's intelligence ministry said on Thursday it targeted positions of separatist groups allegedly attempting to enter through the country's western borders, claiming the militants suffered heavy losses. A drone strike hit an arms depot at the headquarters of an Iranian Kurdish opposition group in the town of Dekala in Iraq's Kurdistan region, wounding several fighters. Iran has long accused the autonomous Kurdish region in northern Iraq of harboring militant groups behind attacks inside the Islamic Republic, and its Revolutionary Guards have repeatedly targeted their bases. Azerbaijan warned on Thursday that it is preparing a response after 2 Iranian drones crossed its border and injured 4 people in the Nakhchivan region. The incident has raised concerns about the West Asian conflict spreading further. The Azerbaijani Defense Ministry said the attack will not go unanswered and that it is investigating the type of drones used. It added that measures are being prepared to protect the country's territory and civilians. Relations between Azerbaijan and Iran are already tense, partly due to Azerbaijan's close ties with Turkey and Israel. Azerbaijan's foreign ministry also called on Iran to quickly explain the incident and take steps to prevent it from happening again. As the US-Iran war entered its 6th day on Thursday, China said it will send its West Asia Special Envoy Zhai Jun to the region in the near future to help de-escalate tensions. Speaking at a regular news briefing in Beijing, China's foreign ministry spokesperson added that Beijing believes dialogue and negotiations are the only way to resolve conflicts.
China will send its special envoy for Middle East issues, Zhao Jun, to the Middle East in the near future to make positive efforts to de-escalate tensions. China believes that war and force cannot fundamentally solve problems. Dialogue and negotiation are the right path. Conflicts and differences should be resolved through diplomacy. China will continue to maintain communication with all relevant parties, including those involved in the conflict, strengthen mediation, and build consensus.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney praises Prime Minister Modi for his work ethic. And the Brazilian Congress approves the EU-Mercosur trade deal.
Nature is sounding the alarm, and when our ecosystems are under pressure, our lives are impacted too. In today's episode, we take a look at how these two are coming together to help us adapt and respond to a changing world.
When you conduct agriculture with Kadai cattle, you don't need to provide any extra materials or any other natural inputs to that field.
The AI does not see animals in the pictures, which then have to be found by humans. But also there's certain species, especially rare species, where we don't have a lot of pictures to train the AI, that the AI then cannot classify in turn.
Thanks to Santosh's information and awareness classes, that myth has disappeared. Now if we encounter a dangerous snake like a cobra, we immediately call Santosh to perform a rescue.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has praised Prime Minister Modi for his leadership, discipline and focus on delivering benefits to citizens, while signaling Canada's intent to deepen cooperation with India across key sectors.
He's very focused on delivery, I'll call it to the rural household, but, we would say in Canada, Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde, the person on the street sort of thing. So a huge motivation for the financial reform transformations, the payment systems transformation, UPI and other things, was to get money directly, as you know, directly to individuals without leakage, shall we say, in the system in real time, and to bring people, hundreds of millions of people into the formal economy. And he's very focused on that aspect of delivery. So here he's up at this global level, operating, India rising, challenges, but much positive, but a leader who keeps bringing it back down to that level. So there's much to see there.
Let's now tell you about Nepal, which has voted on Thursday for a new parliament in a high-stakes showdown. This was the first general election in the country since the youth protests last year. Nearly 19 million people were eligible to vote in this election. 65 political parties were in the fray for the 275 seats in the House of Representatives. Out of these, 165 members are elected directly in a first-past-post system, while 110 members are chosen through a proportional representation system. Now, leaders who cast their ballots included frontrunner Balendra Shah, who is also the former mayor of Kathmandu. And Nepal's youngest generation of voters turned out in significant numbers during the recent polls, marking their presence as a decisive force in shaping the country's future. After casting their ballots, these young voters expressed hopes for a corruption-free government with strong demands for quality education and accessible healthcare facilities across the nation. Listen in.
Feeling really excited, so much eager to know the results and everything. People are in the ministry now, and then Prime Minister is more educated now, because we really didn't have anyone educated as much as now. There are really good candidates, and and I hope they all win and make our country great.
We are finally here in election day to vote, and we voted for the best candidate as we thought. And so I really want, as everyone wants to minimize the corruptions, so we can't like hope for the sudden changes, but least thing they can do is like less corruption. And the next thing is development in education and hospital area.
Sri Lanka on Thursday said another Iran-linked vessel has been detected near the island's maritime boundary but is not within its territorial waters. An Iranian vessel has been detected in Sri Lanka's exclusive economic zone close to the country's maritime boundary. Cabinet spokesperson and Minister Nalinda Jayatissa briefed Parliament on the situation. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa raised concerns over the ship reportedly positioned near the port of Colombo. The government has said that the situation is being closely monitored while ensuring regional peace. Meanwhile, 87 remains have been recovered after the incident where an Iranian frigate was torpedoed by a U.S. submarine. Authorities have confirmed that safety measures are in place to prevent any further incidents in the area. Brazilian lawmakers have finalized their approval for a free trade agreement between the South American Economic Bloc Mercosur and the European Union following a Senate vote on Wednesday. The collective approval by the legislatures of Mercosur's members, that is Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay, is a necessary step for the trade agreement to take effect following more than 2 decades of negotiations. India is steadily achieving new milestones in the field of global exports. The Export Promotion Mission, launched to connect micro, small and medium enterprises with international markets and boost their exports, is emerging as a significant initiative. The mission is a concerted step towards making MSMEs globally competitive. Take a look.
Today, India's exports are rapidly establishing their presence among the world's largest economies. Indian products are no longer confined to the country, but are firmly making their mark in global markets. Increasing orders, new markets, and growing global demand are clear signs that India is advancing in the export sector. To further expand this export from the MSME sector, on February 20th, 2026, Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal launched 7 new initiatives under the Export Promotion Mission, that is the EPM. The aim is to strengthen the micro, small and medium enterprise sector in global markets and boost the country's export capacity. The goal of the Export Promotion Mission is clear: to promote new products, new services and new exporters. In early February, India's product exports saw a double-digit increase, indicating growing global confidence in India's exports. Under this mission, processes for MSMEs will be simplified, cheaper loans will be available, and support will be provided in meeting international standards. Logistics and warehousing infrastructure will also be strengthened. Projects like India Mart in Dubai will help Indian exporters directly reach markets in the Gulf countries, Africa, Central Asia, and Europe. The EPM, the Export Promotion Mission, is implemented in 2 parts: export incentive and export direction. It will be operated with digital monitoring. Under this, the Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Finance, banking sector, and Indian representatives abroad will work together. MSMEs will receive affordable loans for business. Upon fulfilling certain conditions, relief will be provided at an interest rate of 2.75%, along with an annual support of up to 50 lakh rupees. Exporters through e-commerce will be eligible for loans up to 50 lakh rupees and support for storing goods abroad up to 5 crore rupees. Additionally, support will be provided for entering new markets, international inspections and approvals, warehousing and freight costs. The government's goal is clear: to reduce export costs, simplify business processes, and provide every MSME an opportunity to connect with global markets. The Export Promotion Mission offers solutions to remove barriers to finance for exporters, particularly the MSMEs, ensuring they have access to affordable business and economic resources. This important initiative by the government to promote inclusive, decentralized, and sustainable export growth has been welcomed by industry organizations. The Export Promotion Mission is a significant step towards strengthening India's export sector, and its results are reflected in the continuous growth of exports. Bureau Report, DD India.
And we've just got this news coming in that India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, has spoken with his Iranian counterpart, Saeed Abbas Rakshi. He's also spoken with Foreign Minister Saeed Badr bin Hamad bin Hamoud Al-Busaidi of Oman. Let's find out more about this. Shubhendu Ghosh is joining us to tell us. Shubhendu, what more can you tell us about these conversations?
Gautam, although not much has been shared in the content of the tweet from External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, is mentioned that he's spoken to the foreign ministers of Iran and Oman. But it does speak volumes about the outreach that India continues to make with all the stakeholders as far as the conflict that is underway in West Asia. The conflict between Iran, Israel and the United States now also threatens to engulf the entire region, given that Iran has been targeting US bases in other countries which host American bases, including Oman. Now, India's priority, although India does not have any direct stake in the ongoing conflict, it does have important interests, most importantly, Indians living in the region of West Asia, Indian diaspora numbering from 9 to 10 million, living across different parts of West Asia, living, working there as professionals. Many have been settled for generations. In that sense, their safety and security is the topmost priority for India. In that context, India has been making an outreach to all the countries in West Asia who are getting impacted by this conflict. Earlier today, the Foreign Secretary of India also visited the Iran embassy, paid his condolences, and also entered thoughts on behalf of the government of India in the condolences book for late Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And now we see that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also reached out to the Foreign Minister of Iran and also later spoken to Oman. In that sense, India continues to push for peace, negotiation in the ongoing conflict. At the same time, it is trying to ensure that the safety of Indian nationals, of the Indian diaspora, can be maintained. India's other interests, and these are also global concerns, the manner in which energy supply chain is going to be impacted with the ongoing conflict, particularly with respect to the Strait of Hormuz, has been a concern. So, host of issues for engagement of the leaders, and with this news just coming in that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has made an outreach to the Foreign Minister of Iran as well as Oman.
Yes, definitely, Shubhendu. India has huge stakes in the region in the interest of peace. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment. And that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.